Hello, hello, everybody. I'm catching up on, I hear an echo. I'm catching up on the 12 days of coaching because I was supposed to do one this morning, or else I wanted to do one this morning, like I've been doing for the past 6 days. But my kid got a weird um, rash on her neck, and while she was eating breakfast, and it was spreading towards the back and her ear. So we called a driver and took a 2 hour drive back to Bangkok. So sadly, I had to say goodbye to the beach, but it's okay. We'll return soon enough. So I wanted to catch up on the live streams that I promised you guys. So, like always, very spontaneous. These live streams. I should tell you guys when I'm actually going on, but I am a work from home mom. My kid is on holiday for another 2 weeks, and I can plan all I want, but the reality is shit happens, and so I can do the live streams when I'm able, and that's that. So luckily they're still available for you guys to watch the replay. So if you guys want to catch the replay on this, that's fine too. I wanted to talk to you guys about fears, right? So on the way back from Pattaya to Bangkok, I put on a meditation audio on my phone because I'm not the type of person, I can't read while a car is in motion. I get like motion sickness. So I can't really like be online or read anything. So I put on the meditation and I was trying to figure out my mindset blocks, right? Everybody has mindset blocks and you work through them. And there are days that you have no blocks and then something happens and it comes to you, right? So, oh, who's there? Who's there? Say hello. So I put on the meditation on my cell phone and listened. I ended up listening to 3 or 4 different ones anyway, so I can't even tell you which ones they were. But I was trying to work on my mindset while doing the meditation because the meditation that I chose was for releasing some blocks. And currently, my biggest block is that I won't be able to move to Spain in 2018, although the universe has already provided me with a sign that it is going to happen, right? So I'm putting my fear into how and when, right? I'm putting all my energy into how and when. And to be honest, it's none of my business as to how and when the universe is going to supply this to me, right? I should really have 100% blind faith in the universe that the universe will provide what it promised, right? So that made me want to talk to you guys about fears because I don't have them the way other people have them. And I know this for a fact. I don't. If I want to do something, whenever I've wanted to do something, I've always just go ahead and done it. And I worry about consequences later. I worry about what ifs later. Like, sure, I'll have like a backup plan if something doesn't work out, just to be on the safe side. But I don't have fears as far as stuff holding me back. For example, when I was 29, I was working in the fitness industry and I was starting to get anxiety attacks from being in a big city. I lived in New York my whole life. And I was, at this time, I had been living in Manhattan for about 3 or 4 years. And I was a fitness manager for a big chain of gyms, a big chain of a gym. And I didn't want to do that anymore because anytime I would go out into public, the crowd was starting to give me anxiety, right? And I would literally hide in the back seat in the taxi until I arrived at my destination. So from decision of wanting to leave to leaving was 3 months. Okay. Like I literally told myself, okay, I'll give myself 3 months to save up money to pay off debt. decide where I'm going, and I worry about the job later, right? Because I was a certified level 1 yoga instructor. I was a personal trainer. So my background at that time was fitness, right? So fitness, you can do fitness anywhere. You can train clients anywhere in the world as in the fitness industry, right? As a personal trainer. So that was never a fear to actually leave the world that I'd known for 29 years and go to Florida, which is where I ended up going. I have some friends there, and I had some friends there at the time. Hi, Brenda. How are you? Talking about fears today. So I left. I paid my debt, saved money for down payment for a car. So I was making payments on the car, and I literally had the car maybe 3 weeks before I packed it up and moved to Florida. And my daughter, my oldest, was around 5 at the time, so about the same age as my little one is now. And I didn't worry about when I'm going to see her, how we're going to work it out as far as sharing custody with her dad, because I knew it would work out. Like, I always had that mindset that everything can and will work out. So it wasn't a fear, right? So that's one of the examples as far as how I've always done stuff without being afraid the way normal people are afraid. I wasn't afraid, oh, what if, I get a flat tire on the highway? I drove by myself from New York to Florida. And I can count really from that first time till now, 10 years later, I've done it at least 10 times by myself. And, I didn't fear getting kidnapped or raped or anything like that. And it's just, some people will go through their life being afraid of things like that you can't control, right? So I guess that's why fear doesn't really exist in my life the way it does for other people. But looking back on this past year, my fears then evolved into something that I didn't realize was a fear, so to speak. So, for example, I ended up, let me see, we've lived in Asia, my husband and I, so my family and I, we've lived in Asia for 4 years now, right? And I had to abandon my business or close a business. I feel like I abandoned my business. I used to own a cupcake shop, and we were breaking ground in the second one in Winter Park, Florida. The first one was in Orlando, and the second one was going to be in Winter Park, Florida. And my husband had taken a job overseas. And we really had about 6 months to plan it out, which was, for me, that's more than enough time for me to find a manager and train people. But I couldn't find the right people to train. I couldn't find the right manager. And I had been trying to get pregnant with our first for 2 years. And this little brat of a child who I love dearly came right at that moment where we were breaking ground on the second store, and I was high risk. And anyway, so I moved overseas. I had to give up the business. And in doing that, I had to figure out other stuff to do, right, to occupy my time, to kind of reinvent myself, which I think we are all constantly reinventing ourselves, and you should, in a way, because when you're adjusting parts of your personality, not really a personality, but parts of your life that no longer serve you, you do end up changing, and that's inevitable. So throughout those 4 years, what I wasn't realizing was what just happened, and it happened bit by bit, was the fact that I was losing part of my identity and my self-esteem and my self-worth because I was focusing on marriage and children and being a mom and being a wife. What came out of that was fears of not being good enough, fears of not being smart enough to, God forbid, my husband died, and what am I going to do? Or if we went through a bad year, so what if we got divorced, and how would I support myself? So there was fears in that, right? And what happens to us when we're wrapped up in our life right now, and we're short-sighted, right, on the things that are happening in our life right now, is that we don't let ourselves embrace the fear in a positive way, okay? Because you're going to be afraid. Fears are going to come regardless. It's a natural way of your brain protecting itself, right? So it's, if your mind sees danger, that's where fear comes from, right? So your subconscious says, you know what, this is not a good choice. Let's not do this because shit can go wrong, right? Again, shit can go wrong. So what you should do, instead of stopping right there, you should, move past that, right? Move past fear. But how do you do that? You start little. You start by taking little steps. So if you have fear of inadequacy, then figure out why. Where was the last time you felt that way? What do you do instead of fixing that? What do you do to continue that cycle of feeling inadequate, or whatever it is that you're feeling now? Do you even want to move past that fear, right? So for example, my husband's afraid of heights, but he's a pilot. Really weird, but a lot of pilots have a fear of heights. So that's, I guess, subconsciously one way of him sort of overcoming the fear, but not really, because he says as long as he's not looking out the window, he's good. And that's scary too for me to tell you guys that. Now next time you go on a plane, you're going to think like, oh shit, is the pilot afraid of fucking heights? And 90% of them, well, 70% of them have fears of heights. So if you do have any fears, I'd like to hear what they are. Like, please comment below and tell me what your fears currently are, because something that you've been afraid of in the past may not come up again for years. Or maybe there's a fear that's starting to come up because your life has recently changed, right? So when it comes to fears and the steps that you can take to eliminate them is to acknowledge them, right? And after you acknowledge them, you'll say, okay, cool. I have this fucking fear of X, Y, and Z. What am I going to do? Who do I know that has the same fear? How do they overcome it, right? And you might not even realize it's a fear until you like really look at the patterns in your life, right, that don't serve you. So when you take a look at your patterns of how you sabotage yourself, so that's one way to figure out what your underlying fears are. So for example, if you've been wanting to go out more, right? If you're an introvert, well, why don't you like going out? Well, I don't really like people. Well, why don't you like people? Oh, because people suck. Why do people suck? Oh, because they ask me a certain question, like what I'm doing with my life, and I don't like the answer because I'm not doing anything with my life. So it's not really the fear of going out, okay? It's the fear of having to acknowledge that you have to change your fucking life, you see? So it's not just the fear itself. It's what's behind that fear, okay? And that I can think of 100 different ways that people hide behind their fears. So that would be my suggestion as far as, thank you, Brenda. So that would be my suggestion as far as taking a deeper look at your fears and write them down. It is so helpful for you to write stuff down. Just the other day, I went to yoga. And it was a mindset yoga, and I'm not sure if I talked about it 2 videos ago, but I don't care. I'm talking about it again because the shit was good. I've been having a very hard time finding a good yoga studio in Bangkok or in anywhere really, because they're very commercialized, and the people that go there don't really want to fucking mingle, right? And it's not about mingling with people, but you're going to a room with 10 or 12 people, and their energy from the past class and the energy of the people there is still there. So if people are like projecting crappy energy, I absorb that shit. I do. It's just a natural thing. I've always been able to absorb other people's energy, and it fucking like brings me down, and then I end up not liking my yoga class. So a specific lady, Sabita, she's at Yogatique near me. She was doing a 2-hour special mindfulness and tarot card thing, yoga meditation. So it wasn't really yoga, it was meditation. So I ended up taking her class, and I really liked it. Like, there were 11 people there. I took one of the last, it's on the website, it said the last seat. So I felt like it was a divine calling. Oh, the last seat. So I called, and they held that last spot for me. And from the moment I walked into that studio, I just felt like this is the studio for me. I don't feel judged. I don't feel like bad energy. It literally felt like everyone that was in that yoga studio was there to better themselves and to give this positive energy back. So anyway, I am always the most vocal person, even when I am most afraid to talk. I have a fear of public speaking, but I'm real quickly overcoming that. And live videos has been helping. So whenever she made a comment about something, I'd be the first one to speak, like, oh yeah, I did this. Oh yeah, I did that. So I was telling her about, how I do mindset work, how I journal all the time, how I keep a gratitude journal, how I've done everything I'm supposed to be doing that everyone tells me to do to build my business and to get my name out there for the business, so people know that, Smart Bitch Media is around. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like, I feel like there's one thing that I'm missing, and I don't know what this thing is. And she goes, well, what's your biggest fear? And I'm like, that I'm not gonna make the income goals that I need to make to move to Spain next year, even though the universe already gave me a sign that it's gonna happen. She goes, why does that scare you? Like, what is it about that scares you? It's like, I can't control it. And that was the first time that it dawned on me why I was afraid of that. And it's because the simple fact that I cannot control who wants to work with me one-on-one. I cannot control who purchases my online courses. I cannot control who signs up for group coaching. All I can do is show up and tell people about me and talk to people and get my message out there and let people know who I am and what I do and how I can help them. That's all I can do. And that's a lot for me, because not only am I, a Puerto Rican woman from New York, okay, but I'm from Brooklyn, New York, of all places, right? So, and if you don't know Brooklyn, we are just surrounded by like-minded people, as far as you say what you're going to say, when you're going to say it, and you make no apologies for who you are. And if people don't like it, too bad, right? But we're in control all the time, right? Like, we have to take control of everything. So knowing that totally shifted everything for me, right? So now I've had to, when I'm doing my journaling work and my mindset work, I've had to rephrase everything and say at the end of everything, like, it is out of my control. I leave it in the universe's hand, and so it is, and that's really, really hard to do. So that's literally my one fear right now, is which I'm trying to really like get rid of. So that's why, like, I wanted to talk about it today, because it's also happened to me most recently. So it wasn't just the fear of not filling up courses. It wasn't just the fear of not going to Spain. It's like, oh my God, I'm scared that I can't control this, because I control everything. Okay. When you think about it, right? Every day you wake up, you make a choice, right? When you wake up and you open your eyes in the morning, you make a choice. You're in control of your life every minute of every day, every second of every day. You make the choice every day to be happy, to be sad, to go to the gym, to not go to the gym, to be a good friend, to be a shitty friend. Like, you make choices every day. You're in control. Can you imagine not being in control of one thing, or just 2, 3, 4 things? That's crazy. And so for me and my personality, that was a big thing for me, like, just acknowledging, like, oh crap, I can't control this shit. Like, so the universe is basically teaching me a valuable lesson in life and in my business and in this world, this universe. My biggest thing, which is, you can't control everything, darling. Can't do it. So So when you look at your fears and when you're writing down your fears, do that. Go past that and ask yourself why, or discuss it with a friend, discuss it with your loved one at home, and say, hey, this is how I feel. Why do you think that I'm feeling? Like, what do you see in me? What do you see in my choices, or the words that I choose to discuss this with you, or the words that I choose that you've heard me say? And that's a really great way, because having an outside person to talk to will open up more avenues as far as possibilities that you probably haven't really acknowledged, right? So I can't do that with my husband too much, because my husband is a yes person, so he'll just yes me to death. But I can do that with my girlfriends, so that's a plus. So I'd love to see your comments, you guys, later on when you're watching the replay. I owe you an extra video. The sun is going down and it is 5:41, so the drilling has stopped. This is why I decided to do the video right now. And like I said, we had a 2-hour drive from Pattaya because my kid was sick. She's feeling better now. So I will try to do maybe an hour-long video tomorrow and catch up with that video. Brenda, you're a planner and you understand typos. You can't control what happens next. I've accepted that you have to take every day as it comes and not be upset if it's. Yes. Isn't that really freaking, like, I love to plan. Like, I'm a person, I go into a bookstore and when I see planners, I want all of them. Like, if I can create my own planner and have it printed in front of me, I still don't think it'll be perfect enough, because like I love writing stuff and then I buy the books and I don't want to write in them. But yeah, I'm a big planner. I like having plan B, plan C, just in case, because you can never be too well prepared. I think that's what I want to say. I'm not sure. It's been a long day. Listen, more lists. Do you like categorize them? That's the best way to do them too. Like if you do like what can be done today, what can I delegate? What is most important to me this week, or what have I, that's another one. Put in a list as far as what have you like ignored the longest, and you keep saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So for 2018, I'm saying it on video, and Brenda, you're my witness, that for 2018, I'm going to start doing yoga. Yay. I haven't done it in years, but I want to really start doing yoga regularly now that I found my studio. Especially now that I'm like at my desk more often. My hip flexors are freaking driving me insane. All right, TMI, I wake up in the middle of the night with like the worst like hip pains. So I definitely need to do yoga. And also the yoga will help with mindset work. Oh, and Reiki, I want to do Reiki. I found a place that I can do level 1 in Chiang Mai. So I want to do that. So yeah, I love this too. That's another thing. I have to redo the office because it's still too gloomy in there, and I'll add that to my list. Brenda, we should do like a 2018 planning party. Not my 90-day business takeover thing, but like sit down and like with some wine and plan out like the year of things we want to do, including travel. We need to put travel in there because I didn't do any single girl traveling, any single solo traveling or girls traveling this year because I had my kid with me. So I need to do that for sure next year. We need to plan like a girls getaway for sure. So we'll do that. But yeah. So anyway, that was today's video. I hope you guys who will catch the replay later will learn something from this. If you have any questions about what I said or if I make no sense, please just comment below and I'll answer you guys' comments. I am about to figure out what the hell to do for dinner, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to sign up for the 90-day business takeover. It's free. It's 3 months of me busting your chops once a week, live calls, and a private Facebook group on how to really take over your business and maximize everything in your business goals. Okay. So, oh, it comes with a 10-page workbook too. So, but you don't get that email until like 24 hours before the workshop starts because I don't want you guys to start without the workshop starting. So you get it like 24 hours. So basically you get it like on New Year's Eve because it starts January 1st. I know it sucks, right? January 1st. You're going to be hungover and taking a course. But anyways, free. It is my first free course of the year. So for you entrepreneurs out there that need to kickstart 2018 with massive action, this is a great free 3-month course for you guys. And that is it. I am hanging up and opening up a bottle of wine because I totally forgot to bring wine with me to the beach, even though I brought my fucking sippy cup. But I had beer and I hate beer. So I will definitely play catch up right now. So that's it. Love you guys. And don't forget tomorrow's day 8. Bye, Brenda. Love you, Brenda. I'll chat with you later. I want to hear all about lunch.